Good morning, everybody. How are you? Happy Thursday, July 9th. My name is Samantha, and I'm coming to you on behalf of EPIC. EPIC stands for Empowering People and Inspiring Community. And EPIC Tri County CT is a multifaceted platform to do just that, to empower and to inspire each individual family, business owner, to inspire you. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, my name is Samantha. For those just joining and coming on to our 11 o'clock broadcast, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Today, we have a beautiful returning guest. Robin Clare will be coming forward in a few minutes to discuss the importance and the inner need for many of us to write our story, to tell our story. So I'm so excited. Robin's going to go into some programs and what that's all about. I'm not giving away any more. Just hang with me while I do my good housekeeping. So, part of the housekeeping, we wouldn't have a house without Lisa. Lisa is in Cheshire and she is working the comment field as I speak. Please let Lisa know that you're here with us today. Let us know, scale of 1 to 10, how are you? Right? Are you a 5? Are you an 8? Are you a 10? Because it is our hope and our goal that by the time this interview is over, you're closer or are that 10 that you deserve to be. So thank you, Lisa. Please let us know how you doing. How about this weather, huh? It feels like Florida, and we're in Connecticut. Um, but grateful to be here as always, sending you all health and happiness. Um, I wanted just to touch on the animal energy that we talked about at the beginning of the week, right? The zebra and standing out in a crowd, right? Tapping into your individual self while being part of a tribe. I think what Robin is going to share with us today is exactly how to do that, right? We are all on this journey, very similar stories in one aspect or another, but within each of us, we have our own story, our own journey that is needs to be expressed. And Robin is the person that can help us to do that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Robin Clare forward, author, friend, writing coach. Give me 1 second as we bring her to be with us. And we know our angels are here because we see Robin. Yay.
Yay.
Welcome
Hi,
back, my
Sam.
friend. Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me back. I'm excited to talk about this topic.
Yeah. And I'm excited um, to share all the good stuff that you have coming up, including on page 2 of our July August issue is
hmm
Robin's article. So please pick up a copy um,
hmm
of our beautiful July August issue. So, my friend, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you? How's things going since we last spoke a couple months ago?
Yeah, so since we last spoke a couple of months ago, I may have released my book, but
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure that I had at the time.
Mhm.
Just going to release it, and so that's going really well. And I've been on quite a few podcasts talking about the book, and just trying to enjoy the summer, being safe and socially distancing. And yeah, I'm really excited about this new shift in my work because I have been a life coach for a long time. But what really it gets me excited is helping people to write their story, helping people to be courageous and take their story and use it as a tool to help others. So I'm shifting my work from just being a traditional life coach to being perhaps a life writing coach because I can't help that life coaching part.
Right.
It's
That
just
comes with
who
it.
I am,
It's a
right? And
package. It's a
it's a package deal, right? And so how this began is last summer I or excuse me, last November I had a retreat in Gloucester and my guides asked me to stay an additional day. And I did. And in the morning, I went to walk at sunrise and I sat down in this rock structure and I said, "What's up?" And they said, they asked me a great question. They said, "Do you think that spiritual people have lived these incredible stories for their own entertainment only?" And I started to laugh and I'm like, probably to some level because they are very entertaining. They make great stories, but inevitably, I bet for those people that have these amazing stories, someone has said to them, "Wow, that's a crazy, wonderful story. You should put that in a book." And so, where I'm going in my work now is I'd like to help you to take your wonderful, crazy, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as
Mm-hmm.
I call it,
Yep.
and put it into a book because you can help so many people to heal, but the one person that you're going to even heal more is yourself. The process of writing is so cathartic, and it requires you to really take a look backwards, to take a look at where you are in the present, and then it gracefully brings you into a future where you are very proud of your story and where you can share it with others. And so the first time I wrote Feast and Famine, I was still in addiction from obsessive compulsive food disorder and bulimia. So at the end of the book, I was like, okay, well, I hope this works for you. It didn't work for me. Have a nice life. But I knew I couldn't publish the book.
Right.
So then once I went into recovery, then I was able to take a look at the book, rewrite it in some parts for sure, many parts actually, and then come to an ending that made complete sense, way beyond what I would have thought it would have been when I was in addiction. So I guess what I'm saying is that if you believe that you're not done living your story, there are aspects of it, write the book anyway, because it helps you to move through those parts that still need to be healed. And so that's what I'm excited about, Sam, is to help someone to continue their healing. I guess that's the life coaching part
Right.
of
Right.
the writing coaching program, but then to also come out at the end with a tool that can truly help other people.
Write the story anyway. Write the story as if.
Yes, yes.
That
Write
just
the
struck a
story anyway.
wow. That struck a chord within me deep.
Hmm.
I'm excited. Um, Now, the Feast of Famine, I also want to mention because we are so excited to have you be such a large part of our July August
Yes,
issue.
thank you.
We also featured the book in our Epic Recommends section. So if anybody's interested in purchasing the book, they can just go on to our
Hmm.
website, follow the link, and get the
Right.
book Feast of Famine Healing Addiction with Grace. It's a beautiful book. Um, now, as you begin to make this shift slowly into the writing coach,
Hmm.
um, what type of programs are you going to be offering for people like myself or our viewers who want to write their story and
Well,
tell?
it's interesting because it's I've already made the shift. I now have writing clients, and then all of my clients that were just in the life coaching part of my world, trying to understand their story and understand their suffering and what were they struggling over and how and what are the lessons did they learn, have now shifted into the writing coaching program. So if that's not a message from the divine, I don't know what is.
Right,
Right? I
right,
have no life coaching clients left.
right.
I just now have writing coaching clients. So
Might be a
I
sign,
may
Robin.
it might be a little sign, right? So I did make that shift. And so here are the ways that people can work with me. The first is that you really want to write this book or you're committed to writing your book, but you don't even know what the book is. So I have a one time session, 90-minute session called The Courage to Write Your Story. And we start taking a look at your life and saying, what's the meat here? Like where what is the story that you need to tell? And then, of course, we have the writing process program, which starts in September, which is scrolling along the bottom, which is, yeah, I'm committed to writing, but I have no idea what it means to be a writer, right? To
Yep.
become an author. And so that's an 11-week group program, really fun. I have guest speakers come in from the industry, and it's just a great program. And then there's the writing coaching program, which let's say you're committed to writing and you just need someone who's going to keep you on track, committed and on track. And so what I found in that with my writing client coaches, excuse me, my writing clients, is that the hardest part about being a writing coach is getting your clients to actually write. So I came up with two more programs. The next one is you're committed to writing, but you don't know what to write. And so in that program, I'm going to outline your chapters with you.
Oh,
We're going
wow.
to look at what should be included, right? Because, I've done this 3 times. I've written 3 books, so I feel very qualified to do that, working on my 4th book. And so I will help you outline your books and you will write them and then we'll review them together. And then the last one is you are committed to writing your book, but you have absolutely no desire to write it. So we'll outline the book and then I will write it for you. And in that process, I am not the author, I am the writer. You are the author and I am the writer. And so that's a big commitment, and we'll see if anybody bites on that one. But I think where I'm going to wind up with the most clients is that one I shared just before, because learning how to outline your book and
Mm,
what content is relevant and what research is relevant and what self-help tools are relevant is a process, and I'm hoping to be able to support my clients to be able to basically finish their books,
right. I mean,
right? In
imagine.
whatever way works for them, whatever level of commitment and motivation they have to the process. Because Sam, a book is a live being,
Yeah.
right? You have to make a commitment to it, like you make a commitment to healthy eating, like you make a commitment to exercise, like you make a commitment to anything. It takes a commitment. It's not a full time commitment by any stretch of the imagination, but it takes that same level of commitment, a daily commitment, I would even say, even if it's a half hour or an hour.
Right.
You just have to fit it in, because what happens is, especially on these spiritual books or self-help books, your guidance starts showing you things in your life that need to be included in the book. And so if you're not paying attention to the book and the process, you're going to miss
You're going to
those.
miss something.
You're going to miss it. And so what I say is I become the book when I'm writing it, because I'm so curious to see who's going to come into my life and say something to me, or what am I going to see that somebody else is working on that I'm like, oh, I need to reach out to that person. I think I'd like to include their work in my book because it's very relevant to
Mm,
what I'm working on. And
mhm.
so that's what I'm saying to folks. You need to have that commitment, or it's just going to be frustrating, just like anything else in life, right?
Right. And
That
I
you
am
start and
definitely
can't
with you.
finish.
Because um, well, I've committed to one of the programs. Um,
Yes.
I've always known that there's a book within me, um, and a need to tell my story and to share
Hmm.
my journey. And there was always that fear. Okay, I have
Hmm.
probably, I'm looking at on my bookcase maybe 15 journals that have been started. Okay.
Yeah.
So, are the journals and things that I've done in the past, will that be part of the process where we can bring that all together and look and put some pieces together, or is it sit down and just start fresh?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because the answer to that is that your soul has been guiding the way in this lifetime to get you to learn that magical piece of information, which is your story, right? Right? We've learned a lot of things in this lifetime, but what is your story? And
Mm,
so you came here to learn that, to experience it, to heal it, and then to share it. And I think that's why the divine asked me that question on the beach. Like, is it for their own entertainment only, or are they required to share this? And I just thought that was so funny, but it's true, right? So where have you been storing that content? But in your journals, right?
right,
And so, of course, the information from your journals is certainly part of your backstory as to how you got to where you are and what makes you uniquely qualified to tell this story,
right,
right?
right,
And what will make people really resonate with you? Because that's when the more authentic you can be. I was on with on Zoom with a dear friend, Deb Ravenwood, the other day, and she said, finally, in book number 3, she said, "There's Robin." Right? Because the first 2 books are wonderful spiritual books, but I wasn't grounded. I was still in addiction, right? And so I wasn't grounded. But in this one, in recovery, I could really write this authentic book that people will say, wow. I mean, I've had so many people say, I didn't know that. And I'm like, of course you didn't know that. It's a closet type of addiction, right?
Right,
It's
right,
not something you can't see me holding a drink or something, right?
right.
Um, so she said, I'm so excited because Robin is really in this book. And so that's what I'm excited about, is to help people to put themselves in the book and their recommendations, what worked for them, what didn't work, what were their struggles. And so that people can say, oh my God, I totally relate to that. And then what worked, right? What finally worked, right?
What
And of
was
course,
that?
we're still healing, and I love, like, I can share that I got what worked, but it didn't work for me until I was ready for it to work for me. So
Exactly,
now I can say it works. I
exactly.
can I can truly say that, and be authentic about that.
I'm looking over here. Hold on one second. Because the book, Feast of Famine, really has
Hmm.
changed my life. And
Thank you.
I have an excerpt from it that I have on my inspirational board here.
Hmm.
Um, and if by writing the book or going through this writing coaching process helps me to see the pattern of suffering, right?
Hmm.
That you explain in Feast of Famine,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Because it's literally digging it out. Writing is a process of almost an excavating of
Mhm.
taking it all out, like you said, looking at the past, putting it out, and then rewriting, or not rewriting, but writing your future, right? Faith,
Yes, and
destiny.
and when I was writing Feast and Famine, I know a lot of people who are in our community know that I channel some of the content in my book from the Ascended Masters, and I was working with the Divine Universal Mother Sophia on Feast and Famine. And what Sophia said to me at the very beginning, in order for me to be able to work with her, and I would say this now to all of my clients, and she said to me, I can only do this with you if you don't look, when you're looking back on your life or when you're researching solutions, that you don't say to yourself, oh my God, why didn't I know that 20 years ago? Like, why? And like, there's no living in regret, is really what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
And she was like, if you start going down the regret, Robin, I cannot write this book with you. And so I would say that to my clients too, like, no living in regret. And the other 2 books were written with Yeshua, with Jesus, and his rule was, I can only work with you if you write from the heart. If you get up into your head, I can't write with you, because this is where the divine lives within us, right?
Right, right.
Up in my head, I would be like, oh man, this is boring. Who's going to want to read this? I find it boring and I'm the writer. And he'd be like, we're done today, Robin. Carry on, right?
Carry
So I
on.
would say, carry on. So I would say to all my clients and to all potential writers out there, stay in your heart, because that's where the real juicy stuff is. And
Mm,
also don't live in regret, right?
mm,
Because everything that we've done has led us to this exact moment in time. You had to experience all the parts of the book, right? All the backstory, right? Whatever it was, good, bad, ugly, like we
ugly.
said,
Yeah,
it it all had to happen in order for you to be able to sit down and have content that others can relate to and that can engage them enough to get to the part where the self-help information begins, and then they become inspired to make the change,
right.
right?
And I think, and I'm going to go from a personal standpoint again. Well, this week we had the zebra energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the zebra qualities is, they all look the same when they're in a pack, because the predators and people from the outside can't tell the difference when all the lines are interacting and stuff. And part of what's always held me back is that thought that is what makes you there's nothing special about your
Mm-hmm.
story.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing really I'm almost not unique enough, and it's already been written. What I feel every time I interact with you is a complete uniqueness, that my story is my story, and my
Mm-hmm.
story needs to be written and will be received by whomever is there to receive it, whether it looks like the rest of the zebras or not. There is a point where that blur becomes very clear that it is my story.
Yes,
And do you see what in a
I do. I
roundabout
do.
way, very visual?
And I would quote another book that made a big difference in my life, which is The Big Leap, by Gay Hendricks. And he talks about the fact that we have our zone of brilliance, and that's what we work at all day long in our everyday lives, to be as brilliant as we can. But there's something called the zone of genius.
Mm,
And in between the zone of brilliance and the zone of genius is our upper limit beliefs. And your upper limit beliefs is, wow, maybe there's nothing really special about this, what my life, about me. It's something that we may have heard over and over again by our family and friends and whomever, or ourselves. Like it's just a pattern that we've heard, and it's become a belief, right? And so what we have to do is remove that belief that there's nothing special about you, because of course there's something special about you. Your soul knows there's something special about you and took you on this journey, that now if you can remove that upper limit belief, you move into your zone of genius, and then there you have it. You're talking about this, you're writing about it, you're inspiring others to move on their journey,
mm,
right? And so it's like a boulder almost. That's what I see it, as a boulder. Like I'm walking down a trail and there's this boulder up, upper limit beliefs, and I'm like, I could not, I could climb over it, I could go around it. Not me. My spiritual mantra is bring it on.
bring it on.
So I will do anything I can to remove that boulder, right? Any type of healing that's required. And I know you're the same, Sam. So just remove that, get rid of that, because it doesn't serve you on this journey to serve others, right? Because everything about your life is going to be helpful to someone else. You will set up a resonance where they will be able to see that resonance and say, this is the person, this is the book that can help me. And when I was writing Messiah Within, Neil Donald Walsh,
Mm,
Conversations with God, I heard him on a no, I don't think it was a podcast then. I don't think we were doing those, whatever it was then. And um, he said this. He said, if you walked into Barnes and Noble, that's how old this is, right? If you walked into Barnes and Noble and you saw a table, and every book on the table was your story, right? Somebody else had written about your topic, right? He said, that's when you write your book, because that's when the universe, people, and the world are ready to hear that story, and there's an opening there for the healing that can take place, and therefore there can never be enough people writing a book to reach all of the people that need to hear it. And so your people who are in your field will heal from this book, because you had the courage to set up a resonance that allowed them to see your vibration and see your book, right?
thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And you know, this is for every single viewer, everybody watching now, and also any rebroadcasting of this conversation that we're having. It's not just Samantha's story; it's their story, right? It's
Oh,
Lisa's
yes.
story. It's Lori's story. It's Karen's story. And bless you, bless you, bless you for being the conduit, and also the ladle that goes to the well and draws
Yeah.
out of the well the food and the drink, that the thirst
Hmm.
quencher that's needed in
Yeah.
each individual and then our universe.
Yeah,
Um,
and one thing too, you don't have to actually write a book. You could write
yeah,
stories. You
yes,
could write um, articles for wonderful magazines like yours, right? You could have a podcast where you're writing content, right? And then sharing that content. It doesn't have to be a published book
right.
per se. I mean, that's ideally, it's such a wonderful sense of accomplishment. I remember when I published Feast and Famine, my husband Ori gave me a big hug and he said, "You have accomplished something that most people only dream about."
Mhm.
Right. And so I just got goosebumps from my husband.
Yeah, angel
So,
bump.
so it is a big accomplishment, but think about this. Uh, like my friend Christy Sullivan, who you probably know too, just was involved in a 25-person anthology,
Mhm.
right? Everybody wrote a chapter. How wonderful. Write that chapter. Find anthologies where you can write one chapter, right? Or write your own book or write cards. You know, we love cards, those ones where we look for inspiration, daily inspiration. There's so many ways to do this. And if you were to write a bunch of articles, all of a sudden you can put them together and guess what they are?
Right.
A
A
book,
book. A book.
right?
Right.
Right. So if it feels more comfortable to take it one article at a time, right, then that's okay too. But I'm still available to help you with
Of
that.
course.
You know, you don't have to just be writing a book to work with me. I just want you to write your story so that you can finish your own healing, whatever is left, and that you can send others on the path of healing.
Yeah. Lisa and I each day pull cards, and once a week we
Mhm.
pull one that guides us through the week, and we just repeatedly go back. And this week, from the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron Reed, we have been focusing on the energy of the map maker of destiny. And it really goes into fate and
Mhm.
destiny.
Yes.
And fate being pretty much, set up ahead of time, but then always the point of destiny and choice and free will that'll bring you to
Right.
that destiny.
Mhm.
And what you just described sounds to me as if the map maker of destiny was speaking to me. That
Yes.
we have the ability to not only write our stories, but to change our story, to
Oh,
change it.
yes.
And this is
Yes.
the
That's
part, you
yeah,
know?
like in one of my clients, said, "But I'm not healed yet." And I'm like, "Even better. Even better. Let's do that together. Let's tell the process of your healing, right?
There's a
Because
sequel.
here's what stops people too. They think they have to be an expert and they have to be 10 steps ahead of the person that they're trying to help. And a wise coach once said to me, "You only need to be one step over to the right, one step ahead, because you want to be able to grab someone's hand and take them with you. If you're 10 steps ahead, you can't reach for them." And so people think they have to be fully accomplished uh, and the expert, and not when you're writing from the heart, right? Writing from the heart just takes authenticity and courage,
Thank
right?
you.
Not
Thank you. Thank you.
expertise.
Wow. So Lisa has been sharing throughout our conversation the links to contact you.
Yes,
Of
yes.
course, the article you'll find in our flip book and in our PDF.
Hmm.
The book is recommended in the Epic Recommends section. You have the event listed on our,
Yes,
everywhere. So there's live links to find you everywhere.
yes. Thank
And
you.
I am so grateful. I'm excited to join the writing process in September. If anybody has any questions about that, there's a nice write up on Robin's website, which is listed in the feed. And I'm just really grateful. We met a long time ago through Unity,
Hmm. Yeah.
and kind of just ships passing in the night. But again, I believe that the story is always being rewritten and revised and rewritten and revised, and the divine has brought our chapters a little closer together, a little closer,
Yeah.
closer.
And don't you believe that too, Sam, that there are people that, come into our life for us, what is it? A season, a reason, a season, and a lifetime. And yet some people come in and out, right? Like you meet them and you just like, oh, I like her. And then you go on your way, and then all of a sudden, here we are, where
Yeah,
I'm going to help you to
yeah,
write your book, right? And who would have the first time we met, would we have even ever thought that? Never, right?
never.
I just also want to share that I do have a 30-minute discovery call on my website, a free 30-minute call that if you're even thinking about this or about this writing process, writing anything, just sign up for a 30-minute call. Let's get on the phone and see what your story has been and, what help you might need and how I can be of service.
I remember our call and it really helped me. So please,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
everybody who's listening or watching, and share this with anybody who has been hesitating to tell their story. Share the
Hmm.
information about Robin and how to find her. Hop on that 30-minute call. It's a free call, so there's nothing to lose.
Yes,
There is
right.
only connection to gain and guidance. And so thank you for being, Sophia incarnated, right? The
Thank
mother
you. Wow, that's quite
incarnated.
flattering.
But you really are. You have a beautiful, um, energetic ripple that I feel. I mean, we talked about energy levels before we even went live.
Mhm,
And once we
mhm.
started to converse, I felt my tank being filled. So thank you.
Oh, good. You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. I know you'll be back. I know you'll be back soon as an epic guest. You're an integral part of our foundation. Everybody that is watching today, thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of the epic journey.
Yes.
Please, please, please stay safe today. Stay hydrated. If you feel like you're overheating, go inside. Take care of
Mhm.
yourself. Take care of your body. Take care of your family. And please take care of your pets. Make sure they have water and shade
Yes,
also.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So stay safe. Stay well. Stay tuned. I'll see you Monday. And as always, peace out, Epic Scouts. Thank you so much, Robin. Thanks.
Thank you, and goodbye, everybody. Have a good day.
Absolutely. It's better with you. And I'm looking for my mouse and it's not connected. So let's go over here and say bye.
Bye.